Earlier on today, President Trump told Walmart to eat the tariffs, meaning they should be the ones that take on the additional costs and not pass it on to the U.S. consumer. Well, this could actually create a terrible precedent moving forward. I want to explain what's going on, what many economists are concerned with, and why President Trump coming out and calling out Walmart is actually a bad thing. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but first, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So here's what President Trump had to say. It says Trump tells Walmart to eat the tariffs after the retailer warned it will raise prices. Now, the CFO of Walmart said that the tariffs are still too high. It's too expensive, and there's no way they can get by without raising prices. Now, here's what President Trump had to say. He put this on Truth Social just this morning. It says, Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. Now, here's the interesting thing. Could President Trump and the Trump administration come out and somewhat penalize companies for making billions of dollars and pushing the responsibility and the additional cost over to the American people? They could. The Trump administration could come out and say that, you know what, prices are getting out of hand. Here's what we're going to do. You cannot charge more than X amount for a specific product. Something similar to what they've done for drug prices. Yeah, that's what economists are concerned with. But if this happens, the concern is, and I talked about this in the video I did earlier on today, is that we could see additional layoffs. Because if companies are expecting this money to be there, they're expecting to raise prices, continue to sell, and still remain profitable. Well, if we start to put a cap on what they can charge, this is where companies will then have to redirect. They'll have to adjust their strategy moving forward, restructure, and potentially lay off thousands and thousands of workers. Now, I want to read this to you though. Look at this. It says Trump tells Walmart to eat tariffs as retailer expects prices to increase. Well, why? Well, this is what the Walmart CEO, Doug McMillon, had to say. He says, we will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. Keep in mind that Walmart has very slim margins. Costco, another company that has very slim margins. Costco gets about 80% of their products from China. So they are going to have to raise prices. Well, here's what retailers like Amazon, Costco, Walmart, Target, they've all done. They've negotiated with their suppliers and the manufacturers over in China to try to get the best deal possible. Now, some have been successful, others haven't. And I'm not talking about, Costco's been successful and then Target hasn't. No. What I'm talking about is certain suppliers have more wiggle room. They have more margin to work with so they can actually eat some of the tariffs. But here's what Costco had to say a while back, is that Costco had a plan. Walmart had the same plan and Target had the same plan as well, where the retailer like Costco, Target, Walmart, they would all eat about a third of the cost increase. Okay, so a third of the tariff they would eat themselves. And then the manufacturer or supplier, they would ask them to eat another third of the cost. And then the remaining third would actually be passed on to the customers here in the United States. Well, some say it's working for certain suppliers and manufacturers, but others say it's not. It's just not doable. Now, when Trump is telling them to eat the entire thing, that creates a little bit of a problem. I want to show you this though. Look at this right here. It says China tariff stacking pushes true cost of import taxes well above 30% on many consumer products. What are they talking about in this? Well, let's read this. Look at this right here. It says the Trump administration's trade truce with China that paused the steepest tariffs on Chinese goods isn't offering much of a reprieve to many importers. Stacking of multiple tariff layers already implemented during the trade war has pushed up costs to import retail goods much higher than 30% associated with the tentative agreement. It says, while companies are relieved to see a temporary pause from the incredibly high tariffs on goods from China, retailers are still facing very high tariffs that will have an impact on prices and supplies. It says multiple layers of tariffs are a big problem for basic items like kids' backpacks that come largely from China. You're talking about rates of over 70%. It says that includes the layering of existing 17.6% tariffs on Section 301 tariffs related to unfair trade practices of 25%, with the 30% in tariffs on Chinese goods, not including in the pause 20% fentanyl-related tariffs and 10% reciprocal tariffs. Again, prices keep going up. Now, why is this turning into a bigger and bigger problem? Well, because Costco, Walmart, Target, Amazon, they continue to make money. And this is what the American people are seeing. Is that, okay, you're making money, you're doing well, that's great for you. What about us? Well, look what's happening for Walmart just this week. In 3 days, there's a nationwide Walmart boycott planned for May 20th. Now, here's what you need to know. It says another national boycott of Walmart is set to commence next week, as Americans are being urged to avoid the company's physical stores and online services. Now, I'm not telling you need to go and boycott Walmart. I'm not saying you must go to Walmart. I'm just saying this is what's happening. This is what people are talking about. It says the boycott, the second to face Walmart following one in early April, will take place from May 20th to May 26th. It says the People's Union USA, the advocacy group leading the action, has accused the retail giant of crushing small businesses and underpaying its employees. Walmart comes out and undercuts everybody because they can. They buy in such volume, they get great deals on all their products, which means they can be lower than Eli's toys in the corner, right? And they can be lower than some other like clothing retailers that are selling just no name brand products, because Walmart can buy shirts in millions and they get an incredible deal. Same thing with toys. Same thing with certain like produce and foods and things like that. They get incredible deals because they buy such volume. Well, with that, they are crushing small businesses. And by crushing small businesses, these other employees from those businesses have nowhere else to go but come to Walmart. Well, guess what they're doing? They're underpaying them because they want to make more money. They want to get billions and billions of dollars so they can give some of that money back to their investors. That's what Walmart's doing. And now this advocacy group says, no, we are going to boycott you for about 6 days. So this is what's likely going to continue. And again, with President Trump coming out and telling Walmart to eat the tariffs, that could actually make matters worse. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But all I can tell you right now is if you love shopping at Walmart, well, things may look a little bit different very soon. You may see the store being somewhat empty because people are boycotting, and you could see prices going up very quickly. So as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring this all to you as soon as possible, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.